Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Miska.
And welcome to Overwatch Central. So we're here today to throw together a list of tips that we haven't really talked about before on the channel. This will not really go into each and every scenario into too much detail, but they are aimed at being more for the players looking for more advanced tips. Some of these have really helped us and others get better at Overwatch and also other video games as well. So let's get straight into it.
First on the list is knowing when to disengage and commit tactical suicide. Now this really isn't as horrible as it sounds, but essentially when your whole team dies you respawn, right? It takes about 10 seconds to respawn, and you kind of start from square one when you do respawn as attackers. This means that about 20 seconds is lost due to you respawning during 10 seconds and then needing to run back to the objective for about another 10 seconds. But if all of you did not wipe at around the same time, there will be one person that is still in there up against the enemy in probably a sort of 5v1 or a 4v1 or maybe even a 6v1 scenario, and they won't be in a good spot here. So maybe during your time running back, this person will still be in there, not being able to do basically anything, and then die later on, wasting another 20 seconds for you and your team. So instead of just wasting around 20 seconds, about 40 seconds is wasted. Now 40 seconds is quite a lot of time in an Overwatch game, and this is why disengaging and committing tactical suicide is so important. A good rule of thumb is to sort of look at the kill feed or scoreboard and see how many enemies die compared to your team dying. And knowing when exactly to commit tactical suicide is very situational. I can't really go through all the factors that come into play, but the moment you know that you don't really have the advantage in a fight, it might be time to commit tactical suicide. Stuff like how many ults you have ready, or what level of HP the enemy are on, and maybe even if you have the high ground or not. Those are the sort of factors you need to take into consideration when thinking about staying alive, disengaging, or committing tactical suicide.
In fourth place, we have a piece of advice that is easy to apply yet so often overlooked. Just because you're not playing at a highly competitive esports type of level doesn't mean you're not allowed to try that extra little bit harder and set up some team compositions before you head into game. Your team, including yourself, will know roughly what you'll be doing before you even see what map you're on and what opponents you have been given. Are you going to run a more traditional composition based around the Reinhardt, or are you going to try and do a dive comp and rush strategy? Are there any special team compositions that your team or whoever you're playing will have prepared? Talk about it a little bit. Talk about it a little bit with your team when you've loaded in, sitting in the menu or whatever. Prepare team comps and even more importantly roles. Deciding roughly what role everybody is comfortable with and what they're saying their top 3 heroes are is also solid general knowledge that you as a group should decide on and share with each other.
Number 3 on our list is clear up voice chat and make only the essential callouts. Think for yourself, and especially when you're dead, you have about 10 seconds to just think a little bit about the game, and then when you're running back you can communicate whatever plan change you were thinking about when you were dead, but there is very little time to actually discuss. Overwatch is very fast and you kind of need to have a plan set before you come into game, so everybody knows what to do in certain scenarios. A firefight in a choke point can last forever, and it's not a good time to sort of come up with a new tactic or a new team comp, as you're already busy with all of this other stuff going on. And clear up the voice chat, because when it gets stressful it's gonna get really messy in the voice chat if you haven't really thought of this up ahead of time. We're all very different, some of us talk more, some of us talk less, and if you're in a 6 stack the other team will no doubt communicate, so if your team are not doing as good of a job at communicating you may very well just lose. So what I mean exactly by clearing up the voice chat is not talk about stuff that's unrelated to the game, spend time discussing team comps, heroes, or why you died here and there too much. Focus more on yourself and know that you are following the plan. So for example, if you have a Zenyatta, he's a pretty good shot caller for target prioritizing, as he can throw the Discord orb on someone and then the team can focus that person down. Another good shot caller is Lucio, as you speed boost in and out with him. Mercy is pretty decent too, but yeah, assign a shot caller and clear up your voice comms because it does help.
Next up on our list is a simple tip about something you shouldn't do rather than should. Try not to do the whole let's all ult at once thing. I know this kinda goes against the whole stacking ults thing, but hear us out. See your ult as abilities that are just as situational as all the other non-ultimate abilities that your heroes possess. When activating it, you should be using it because you know it's the right moment and it will secure an advantage for your team. That is the goal. Whether that is zoning out an enemy in a way that secures a checkpoint or a 1 round, or if it's just to secure 1 or 2 kills in a team fight to put your crew on top. That's all you need to do with your ultimate. So don't hold off just because you feel like you don't want to blow that sweet fully charged and ready ultimate you just spent a good minute building up. See it as just another ability in your kit rather than this greater thing that is going to win the whole team the game and get you the play of the game. Use your ultimate when needed, in a decent enough order with enough coordination for them to now overlap. If you're planning a team composition, you want to make sure that you know roughly when everybody should ult too. Is Zenyatta or Lucio ulting when you push the objective on Li Zhang? Is McCree using his Deadeye before or after, or maybe even during one of Genji's ults? Discuss, plan and execute. Otherwise you end up in a situation where both the Lucio and Zenyatta ult at once, and it's just kind of a waste.
And number 1, the best tip on our list here is to just stay alive more and do really value your hero uptime. When you die in Overwatch, it's not that big of a respawn time, but we already talked about what it actually means to die and how much it can delay the game. Now, if you die, you have failed in some way. It might seem like we're just assuming that you're noobs or whatever, but really, you can probably blame your death on yourself pretty much every time in some way. Just try to almost find a way to blame yourself, because in that moment you can't really help anyone else but yourself improve. This means that if you're close to death, maybe just back off, instead of trying to go for that pick-off for the other person that is just a little bit lower than you, because you never know, maybe there's a Junkrat grenade coming out of nowhere, or a random headshot from a Creed that just finishes you off. Do really sort of value your life in game, because big team fights and even normally in Overwatch are so reliant on just one person dying on either team and then the other one going on that pick-off. It means so much to just lose one person, because that's when you start snowballing, will be at a disadvantage, and the team with one more person will just start to snowball and get another pick-off, making it a 6v4, and then maybe the enemy team get one pick-off, making it a 5v4, and there's this constant game of snowballing in every single fight in Overwatch. So valuing your life more and trying harder to stay alive, even if you didn't get that one pick off that time, will automatically make you a more effective player. If you don't quite get this piece of advice, then I do suggest going in game, just trying to constantly remind yourself of trying to stay alive more than anything. It does make a big difference in the end, and I do hope that this tip is helpful, because it has definitely helped me.
And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. Share your advanced tips in the comments below if you have any. Next week we have our advanced guide, beginning with a hero specific one, but moving on to other topics later down the line. Let us know if there's anything in particular you want us to cover in depth. And until next time, take care, and we'll see you then.